so annoyed by what the noble Lord Horan was saying, because part of it is absolute nonsense. Australia actually is riven with debate on the whole system of the asylum that they offer to refugees, and the offshoring is extremely contentious, not to mention inhumane. Plus, of course, what he's been describing as all these problems that we have with refugees is actually a failure of the government. Why doesn't he ask his government to actually set up safe systems for refugees to arrive in Britain? That's the real problem. We don't have them. To go back to what I want to say, compliance with the Refugee Convention seems to me absolutely part of what we should be doing as an honourable country. We should not be thinking in terms of interpreting it in our own way. And just as countries all over Europe are throwing open their doors to Ukrainian refugees and refugees from other countries who found themselves in Ukraine, we're actually putting up walls and actually nailing doors shut rather than being honourable about the situation. Imagine people from Ukraine being subject to the two-tier refugee system, as the so-called legitimate ways of escaping Putin's violent invasion are cut off, and Ukrainian refugees have to use so-called illegitimate ways of getting to the UK. This bill harms those refugees. And if people do get here from Ukraine or from other countries, are they to be left homeless and begging on the streets because there's no recourse to public funds and they are banned from work? These people are professionals, they're teachers, they are nurses and skilled engineers and tradespeople with lifetimes of hard work behind them. They are all banned from contributing in this country, and it makes absolutely no economic or social sense. And when Ukrainians claim asylum, do we lock up the women and children in detention centres if they're struggling to find the right paperwork? If this government were brave, then they would go out and celebrate the asylum system and create one that was fit for purpose and champion the UK as a place of refuge. But actually, this government is not brave. They pander to the far right and use national rhetoric to divide and rule. So at this point, the government ought to reflect about this whole bill and realise it is not appropriate for the circumstances that we're in. It's cruel, it's inhumane, and quite honestly, the invasion of Ukraine should be a turning point for us. The government should abandon this bill and perhaps start thinking about a refugees are welcome bill.